We're just running with it. Welcome to Gamesthetic. I almost said the wrong thing.
The hell would you have called it?
I was about to call it Sparking 3.
Close enough. Running the intro right now?
No, I just hit host and it just naturally plays it, apparently. I didn't know that. We're finding out.
What it is.
We're finding out new things every day.
If you can't tell, Alex is not here.
Yeah, Alex is taking off this week, so it's after a break week last week because I'm gonna be honest, we didn't really have anything, so we were just like, nah. I'm here. I'm in Alex's host seat, running whatever we have. And then on the other side, we have John.
Hello. Yeah, we're gonna. He put some stuff on here for us to talk about. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and as this video is going to show you, that's the wrong camera. Yeah, this is pre-recorded, so there may be cuts. Alex may cut stuff, so we may sound stuff. You have no idea what's going on, but hey, it's a pre-recording episode, and we will be live again next week, hopefully. Then apparently we're taking a break on 10/26. Alex will give us more details on that. Or he won't, and we'll just not do a show on 10/26. And then check the Patreon out. We do have a Patreon. It's going to be in the links down below in the video. Come give us $1. Give us something to really work for. Make a fire in here so that we can do something in the winter. We'll talk about our sponsors, Asian Ink and Rogue, at some point. Maybe.
We'll try not to forget it. If we forget it, there'll probably be a cut in of Alex talking about it.
Yeah, it's a pre-recorded episode, so Alex has some fun with re-editing stuff if we choose not to do things. Yeah, not a whole lot last week. This week we actually have quite a bit of stuff. Actually quite a lot of stuff, actually.
Yeah. This is a good week. This is a week with stuff like that was announced pretty early on in the year that
we've been looking forward to.
It's like you guys had your game you were looking forward to.
Metaphor.
Me and Alex were both looking forward to Sparking Zero.
You got Backyard Sports, as I just found out, came out this week too.
Yeah, Backyard Baseball came out on Thursday, and so it's been a fun week.
Yeah, the game you spoke back into life. Funny enough, which is funny because Alex sent me something the other day because I remember mentioning Mr. Mosquito, and like the next week I saw something about it coming to PS Plus, and he just sent me, it was a PlayStation post on Twitter or something of showing off the remastered Mr. Mosquito gameplay. And he's just like, I blame you for this, Zach.
Sometimes we hit.
Just as really oddball things at times. But yeah, just sort of starting out, we do have some of our big games for the week. Metaphor and Dragon Ball Scores. Metaphor, which surprisingly enough came out to a 94 on Metacritic and 95 on OpenCritic, so I did get my wish of getting a 90. With it being the fantasy and all that fun stuff.
You know, this is one of those where it's not a game I'm going to play.
Yeah.
But like knowing who's behind it and everything, I'm like, this game's going to score very high.
Especially because this is their first actual game since Persona 5, and people's just been eating up everything, which I say that, but there was Persona 5 Tactica, but I'm sort of, it's a spin-off.
There was also that Strikers game. Did they do that?
Yeah, that was Strikers too. Yeah.
It's like they had some kind of spin-off Persona games in there.
But this is the first big Atlas game that's non-spin-off since 5 Royal, I want to say for sure. Because I can't think of any other big Atlas game that came out besides just spin-offs of Persona.
Yeah, I think that's mostly been it.
So, a lot of 10 plus perfect scores from people. Tons of near perfect scores. Sold 1 million copies on the first day. Biggest Steam launch for an Atlas game. Third highest title on Metacritic for the year. Second, if you take away Elden Ring DLC. First being Astrobot, if you take away the DLC, because Astrobot was just an absolute platform masterpiece. I'm going to be honest, I've still been watching people playing that. It still looks very fun.
I haven't seen a whole lot on it, but it's one of those where it's like, that game is designed for everyone to love.
Yeah, and it's very nostalgia for Sony platforms that a lot of people thought Sony forgot about, but they dug out and made some little cosplay outfits for bots for it.
Yeah.
Then Dragon Ball Sparking Zero came out on 85 Metacritic, 84 Open Critic, which that would make it the highest Dragon Ball game? Or does Budokai Tenkaichi still beat it?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay.
It is high.
It's one of the higher ones, though.
Yeah. They normally don't. I mean, usually they're anime fighters. They don't score that high.
No. Then just across the board, a lot of 9s and 8s, few perfects, and a lot of 7.5s, and 3s for some reason. I'm going to assume that's best out of 5.
Yeah, that'd be out of 5.
Alex did send something in the Discord, which I found funny. Was IGN scored it the same as Concord.
More reasons to kind of dunk on stuff from IGN. Yeah, they gave Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and Concord the same score,
which once again insinuates what the hell is IGN's scoring board. But okay. Steam player count all-time peak shattered. Dragon Ball Fighter Z with 122k people all-time peak, which does not surprise me.
Yeah, I also wouldn't be surprised if that's gone up since then.
Yeah, because there was 3-day early access, wasn't it? If you bought a pre-order.
Yeah, it might have gone up a little bit, but yeah, it's around 120,000 like concurrent players at least on Steam.
Which this is a 3D fighter, right?
Yeah. It's big open zone 3D environment.
Yeah, I don't want to play that online.
Apparently, like I haven't tried it yet. Apparently, the online is fantastic.
Oh, I bet it is. I bet they have honed ever since like Fighter Z and whatnot and made it very seamless. But in just my mind, I really don't want to do that.
Yeah. We'll get into that a bit because while I haven't played it, I have watched a few videos on it, so I can shed a little more light on that in a bit.
But that's just the overall. In terms of actually talking about the games and whatnot, I have been able to play a little bit of Metaphor. I forgot to listen to the episode where Alex talked. Did Alex ever talk about the demo?
He talked about it briefly.
Okay, he didn't do like a full in depth or anything.
I mean, not too in depth.
Okay. So Metaphor is the newest game from Atlas, or if you for some reason don't know Atlas at this point, they are Persona developers and creators. So yeah, and this is their first non-Shin Megami or Persona game that they really focused on. That's sort of the big AAA, I guess technically would be at this point.
I mean, I would consider it.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess I never really considered them AAA for a long time, but I guess at this point, it's a AAA. And now that I think about it, Persona 3 Reloaded came out. That would have been Atlas game, non-spinoff, but still Persona.
Yeah, I mean, it's still Persona. But yeah, I mean, at this point, you kind of have to consider it AAA. I mean, they have one of the best-selling franchises in the world right
now. Overall, fantasy genre. The opening's actually very interesting because in most like Persona games, you usually get a nice little music intro and everything like this. And this one, it starts off with just a opening story segment of a guy outright just killing the king of the kingdom. He straight up murders him. Then it has a nice little scene of all of his counselors saying like discussing who could have killed him, yada yada yada, and then killer guy saying a bunch of stuff and more or less making it known, I want to become the new king and stuff. Which is an interesting transition because if you play the demo, it does not do the sort of musical intro it has, versus in the full release game, it has a musical intro after that. In the demo, it just shows that opening scene and then throws you in the menu. It's like, all right, you can start game now.
Okay. So yeah, you get for the full release, you do get a little bit more.
Yeah, you get like their nice version of a musical intro, sort of showing off a bunch of scenery stuff for this book that has some context for the game's story, which hasn't fully elaborated yet for me. More or less, the game just starts you're riding in a carriage to go to the city. You get attacked by bandits. A bandit tries to take your book and kicks you off a cliff. Then you're left in the desert. And you spend the first couple minutes of the game just running from all the creatures because it won't let you fight them.
Seems about right.
Yeah. eventually make it to the city. It becomes very apparent that the city's residents are very prejudiced towards specific races. Every race besides, well, I say races, they call them tribes. Tribes of people besides two who either look like this fantasy world's version of elves with pointy ears, or I forget what the tribe's name that has horns. If you have horns or ears, you're treated as a regular person. If you're not, you're considered lesser in the capital city. Which it mentions like there's like 13 tribes.
Okay.
So there's a fair amount. There's one that's real hated on, which is more or less animal-eared people. Typically like long pointer ears, almost like foxes or rabbits or things like that. There's a weird tribe that has boxes on their heads.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't fully understood that one. I've always run into a couple NPCs, but yeah, they collect. One of them's a weird shop owner that collects a bunch of stuff and sells it to you at oddball prices. He's more or less the version of. You did play Persona 5, right?
I played it some. I never beat it.
Okay, but you remember at least on like the Sundays you could do check the TV for like the shopping channel.
Yeah.
He's the shopping channel.
Okay.
I just fight him. Was like, hey, what you got this time, guy? He's like, oh, this is what I got. All right, give me. Long and short of it, the main opening story is just you're apparently part of a group that has the exiled prince who was attacked one night by Lucius, the guy who killed the king at a younger age and left a curse on the prince. And one of your allies, Grius, took the prince away, hid him away at your elder tribe's village, where his curse has been festering, and y'all have been keeping him alive. You've come to meet Grius, so y'all could start y'all's attack to kill Luis after he's killed the king. You enroll in the army, go to a fort which is being attacked by a creature, which it's very entertaining. So these big creatures that are sort of like myth for the people in the city, but not to the people out in the country, is almost like Titan-style creatures.
Okay.
Called humans.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Alex mentioned that?
Alex mentioned something about that.
So humans attacking, you have to deal with that. You unlock your archetype, your first archetype, which I'm going to be honest, I actually really like how they've decided to introduce the archetypes for our main cast as a whole thing of like the archetypes come to you whenever you find your resolve and whatnot in one specific way. Very specifically for our main character, he's chosen the resolve to fight through and seek answers for why everything's happening. Thus, he unlocks the Seeker. But I do like the whole intro is like some other beings like you now have a choice. You can either do this or you can die. And that's like, yeah, no, I'm going to choose the other thing. And literally reach into their chest, rip out their heart, which has now become a mechanical heart with like, instead of regular like organs or veins, almost mechanical wires attached to it, which is stylized like a microphone, like a stage microphone.
Okay.
And more or less they shout their resolve into it and whatnot, unlocking their power. In which it also has a nice little imagery when it happens for each of the characters.
I was just gonna say, man, Atlas, they have some fascination with doing some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
For like unlocking your powers.
Like, I mean, 5 was very mild.
Well, yeah, it's like 5 is.
But then you have
mild.
3.
I was gonna say 5 is kind of mild because these are the ones that I know. Where it's like 5, you rip the mask off and it like rips the skin and you start bleeding down and that. And then 3, you just point a gun at your head and pull the trigger.
You gotta have this gun-looking thing. You have no idea what it's gonna do, and be willing to shoot yourself in the head.
And then now you're ripping your heart out. It's like they started down and they're like, okay, extreme, and they're like, okay, well, let's go a little more mild for this. Now they're like, new game, back to our old ways.
Which which is funny because in between 3 and 5 there was 4, in which the whole thing with that was like the characters have to face their other side of them that they don't want to acknowledge. That's them, and more or less they have to accept that into themselves, and they slightly become like a evil version of themselves for a moment, and then make them into one, which is very mild versus the shooting yourself in the head.
Yeah.
Then they upped it a bit, like, well, that was okay.
Yeah.
Let's go with some face ripping.
Yeah. They're probably like, okay, this is probably like the guy in charge. Okay, we can't do the shooting in the head again. we gotta be calm this time. And they're like, for 5, they're like, okay, we can step it up a little bit. Now they're like,
it's a new IP. We have so many fans from 5.
Rip it out.
But yeah, no, they shout their resolve into their heart and unlock their archetype, which is a very interesting thing in terms of combat mechanics. It is a very nice blend of Shin Megami and then Persona, which it is leaning heavier on the Shin Megami Tensei side because for me, it's not much of an issue, but for like newer people, if like they're used to Persona combat, I could see it as a little adjustment, not too much. But the combat's not particularly forgiving. But I do have a regret because I wasn't sure what Metaphor was going to be. I did start it on normal, and I've been going through. I was like, okay, I should have bumped it up.
Can you not change it afterwards?
I can. I just haven't yet because like during the whole demo area and whatnot, once you're the initial opening, you're escaping through some mines. You have a boss fight, then you have the boss fight. You go through an area. It's like, oh, there's a dragon there. We should sneak now so we don't wake up the dragon. I just went, I'm gonna fight the dragon.
Yeah. Why would you? You get a limit test.
Mopped the floor with that fight. Because they built it up, I was like, okay, it's sort of Shin Megami style, so this might actually be a hard fight. So I prepped my team and everything I go into. I was like, shit. I overdid it. But overall, so far, the story's been interesting with the whole introduction of this competition that the late king apparently somehow cast some, which is literally called Royal Magic, which has lifted the palace out of the ground, and now his face is more or less taking the bottom of the platform that's holding up the castle, and more or less announces, whoever will take my throne will have, whoever's the bravest, yada yada, has the citizenry's faith. And also on there is a big rock that has the faces of the most popular candidates, which changes based on people's views and whatnot, magic stuff. Which has been very interesting because Louise, our big bad, he's just straight up being, I'm evil the entire time, right in public, in front of everyone. And it's a whole setup thing, like he's been a decorated general, so like the public, he has lots of public followers who are like, yeah, Louise is the only one who can help us and whatnot. Then other people are like, this is wrong. Why are you doing this at the king's funeral? So it's a very interesting take of where the big bads are sort of like skulking in the background. He's just straight up like, I'm gonna do my thing.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna do my thing. Come stop me if you can.
He's literally mocks the king at his own funeral. Has somebody blow up the king's casket, like straight up, just out with it.
I was gonna say, is it very obvious that he's the one doing it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
champion.
Yeah. He was the very one who very much in the public square mocked the king for everything, saying he's the only one who could lead the country after the failed king. And then he literally has people who works for him come out and during the whole chaos and whatnot, destroy the king's casket.
But you know what? It's nice every now and then to just have someone who's like, yeah, I'm taking this. It's like, if you want to come challenge me, get the backing of the people and come do it.
Quite literally what he's done. Because he's just like, you can always see my face getting bigger. The citizenry knows what we must do. And then walks away. And I'm like, well, goddamn.
I mean, yeah, nice. I will say, nice to have a villain who's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do my thing. Instead of like trying to be like, oh, well,
Skulk
it's
and
not,
dagger.
it's that, or it's like either that or just like I'm doing what needs to be done. I mean, granted, this guy's kind of doing that, but it's
Yeah.
like not trying to.
He's not covering it up at
He's
all.
not sugarcoating it. He's like, I'm gonna do this out in the open, and the people are gonna love me for it.
Yes. That's quite literally what he's doing.
Okay, yeah, that's. Can appreciate that.
Yeah.
How far do you? How much have you played?
A couple hours. I beat the initial opening dungeon or the initial fight opening dungeon. I'm currently in the first like main dungeon where you're going to fight one of Louise's underlings, who's a necromancer. He's trying to acquire the king's scepter, which is the king's personal magic, what they're called igniters, which allows him, which amplifies his royal magic. It implies that it has some royal magic as well, but it's more like an amplifier more than anything.
Okay.
So we're currently delving through the catacombs, in which I try to do my usual Persona thing and just do it in a, as it is in the style of Persona of like, hey, this dungeon's open. You have this many days to go fight the boss, otherwise game over.
That's what I was about to ask. Is how much Persona is this game with its like? Because with that, I'm assuming like you have your daily thing where you can do certain actions in the day. Okay.
So more or less in terms of it, combat is very much more Shin Megami Tensei focused versus other aspects or like social links and whatnot have been made some sort of form in this game in terms of Persona side. So it's a very good, they've done a very good blend with metaphor in this of taking the best of both Shin Megami Tensei 5 and then Persona 5 and just blending them into this game.
Okay. Yeah, because I was mainly wondering that because like the Persona thing of like the daily activities and stuff.
Yes.
That's the part of the game I don't like.
Yeah. So I mean, in this one, you have your quest from people you can find and do stuff for them. You have the main dungeon, which you have to complete within a certain time. You have your what's called bonds in this one instead of social links. Which I'll be honest, this game hands out bonds like they're candy.
Oh, I assume that you just get a bunch of them and they go up quick or something.
Well, they I haven't really focused on them yet, but. And I sort of get what they do because you only acquire new archetypes by acquiring the bonds. Because how the game phrases it, because instead of having a velvet room, he has the academia, which when he activates his first archetype, he shows up into a library and there's a guy named Moore who's just like, oh, someone's here. I've been trapped in this library for centuries. I don't know why. I don't remember. I know the king locked me up. I think I was studying archetypes. And you here allows me to continue my studies. Let's work together.
Yeah, kind of just, we need a way to tell you how to do this.
Yeah. So, and more or less, he's in a big room with a giant, I can't even remember what it is called, but you know the classic sort of circle with the human body and the arm movements? Yeah. He's in a room with that as a big statue, and that's in the game called the archetype tree, where you can mess with the archetypes and whatnot. And for each bond, you get a new archetype because it's more or less like, he explains it like, this is you. You have the power to activate people's archetypes to allow them to use this real magic because people can't use magic without an igniter. And it's only through those who have like a certain resolve that you can acquire these archetypes, which are facets of heroes of the past.
Okay.
So like your first ally, he gives you warrior. Your fairy companion gives you mage. A little girl who's the daughter of one of your allies who has an untimely death at the funeral gives you healer. Second teammate gives you knight. And then you meet a random lady in the dungeon who's a bounty hunter who gives you brawler. So it hands these out like candy.
Yeah, I kind of appreciate that, though, where it's just like, hey, play with the system.
Yeah. And which they do allow because with the whole archetypes thing, with once you unlock them, it's available. You have to pay like an initial high cost to initially unlock it. Then for everyone else, it's cheaper. So you can mix and match archetypes, which is the whole system. Because versus personas, where you're constantly fusing personas and whatnot, and then having your main support cast who has their personal ones, or Shin Megami Tensei, where you're fusing demons or recruiting them. You just have the archetypes here. So the archetypes have their own XP, which you level up to get new skills. And then as you increase bonds and whatnot, you can inherit skills from characters' other archetypes you've unlocked for them, and the skills they have unlocked through those archetypes.
So can you, like, I assume you unlock your, like, the archetype that you have.
Yes.
You could swap between them.
Yes, so like...
And that's just like your combat style or your magic or something?
Yeah, it's specifically your skills, and it also changes your stats a bit based on which one you're playing as. Because like mage will up your magic stat and stuff like that, versus like knight will up your strength a little bit, but very much raise your endurance.
Okay.
And then like the whole inherit thing, like it's 20 ranks and an archetype. So like my main character, I'm currently running healer, rank 10, which is unlocked like 5 skills, and then seeker has like rank 6. So I can take I have my healer with its 5 skills, and I can inherit a single skill from the seeker or any of the other archetypes I have skills I've already unlocked.
Okay.
In which, as I've seen as you raise the bonds and that specific archetype that bond represents, and like on one of the ranks it can up how many inherit skills you can get for that one. So like my mage one, it can inherit 2 skills instead of 1.
Okay.
So it allows you to mix and match builds to allow for deal with shortcomings for an archetype. For like, there's an instance in one of the small little boss fights in the catacombs. It's against a group of enemies that are completely immune to any kind of basic attacks of slashing, blunt, or piercing. So you specifically have to use magic. So for like the warrior, they don't have any magic skill. So naturally, I have to choose and inherit a magic skill from one of the other ones, so they can do something in that fight.
Yeah. Besides just stand around and be like, okay, well, it's just.
I'll throw a healing potion.
It's like, I mean, I got nothing for you to do, so you just swing at him, I guess.
Which I very much enjoy the system. I'm still early on, so I can't do a whole lot with it. But I feel like as I get further in like mid game and whatnot, it'll allow for some very interesting builds.
Do you have a scope or like any idea of like how big the game is?
From my understanding, it's a good, at least like standard Persona, so it's going to be a good 60, 80 hours.
Okay. Yeah, because I wouldn't. That's one of those where it's like, sometime before a game comes out, they'll throw a number out, but it's kind of interesting. I was curious if playing the game it had, or like if you could kind of had a read for that.
It's going to be
potentially be
decently length, because as of where I started with, I tried to do my thing of just running the dungeon the first day, in which due to resource management and whatnot, in terms of just having to fight, not feasible. Then again, I'm also doing my first run, so I mean, it looks like if I really want to push it, I can finish the dungeon within 2 days. But if I want to do it in a more probably safer way, I should do it in 3, just for resource management.
Yeah.
But if I just want to really scrape by, I can do it in 2.
Okay.
Because I mean, on the first day, I got halfway through the dungeon, and that was with me having like my character's HP was okay because I've stocked up on healing items with my MP, which allows me to use my magic and whatnot. He was like scraping by. Everyone was at like 1 to 20.
Yeah.
And I was like,
the usual problem.
I was like, I could keep going, but
it's like I can keep going, but it's going to be more tedious than anything.
Yes. But overall, been fun. It's a very much Atlas game. I feel like anyone coming from either Shin Megami Tensei 5, if they picked it up with the re-release of Vengeance, or Persona 5 Royal, could find some enjoyment in this game. As I said, it does have the bonds thing, and then you have your daily task of upping the what's called King's Virtues instead of your social stats, which are Courage, wisdom, imagination, tolerance, and I don't remember the fifth one.
So granted, you've only had a few hours in the game. I'm not going to tell you to like give it a number, like a ranking out of 10 necessarily, but assuming this is a solid, if you like the style of game, pick it up.
Oh yeah, no, if you like Atlus's main flagships, yeah, you should definitely pick it up. Unless you just have something against fantasy, I would say don't pick it up. But I mean, if you like Atlus's main flagship games, I mean, I'd say pick it up. You know what's weird? Well, even though I say the combat's more like Shin Megami Tensei, because that's probably more of a viable reference for most people, with how the whole archetype thing works, and in terms of like weapon combat and things like that, I had a very vague feeling when I was initially going, is like, why does this feel like Digital Devil Saga? Which has no reference for most people.
I got nothing there.
Yes.
That went over my head.
It is an Atlus game from PS2 era. Then, yeah, no, I'm not going to go into it, but for anyone who happens to know that, it gets a bit of actually more like that. But yeah, that's all I got from Metaphor so far. Solid. I'll be curious to see how the archetypes open up after the base ones and how builds go.
Okay.
So what you got for Sparking Zero?
Well, so yeah, also Dragon Ball Sparking Zero came out this week. It had a 3-day early access period. I didn't start playing until Friday.
Okay.
Because just I kind of forgot about the 3-day early access period, and then I was like, I'm a couple days away. I can wait like 3 days and not pay like $30 extra to pay it for or play it for 2 days.
I mean, at that point, you might as well.
But yeah, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. It's the spiritual successor to the Tenkaichi games, essentially, and it's a lot of fun. The story mode is fucking weird.
I saw something about that because I saw a screenshot of someone's like, the Vegeta fight in the Saiyan Saga changes a lot when Goku goes Super Saiyan.
I've seen that. Okay, so first off, when you play if you go through the story mode,
Okay.
it is a very fast-paced mode.
Okay.
So like Saiyan Saga is like 2 or 3 fights.
Just the main fights, I assume?
It's like Raditz,
Nappa?
Raditz, I think you do a Nappa fight. Then it's Vegeta into Great Ape Vegeta. And then you're on to the Namek Saga.
Damn, okay.
But the reason they do that is when you go to story mode, you select to play it from Goku's perspective.
Okay.
And then you can play it. It's like then you play through the story. There is a different like story mode, or it's basically you play. I assume you play through the story. I haven't played anybody else's yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of characters that you can pick to play their perspective of.
Interesting.
And the other thing is there are during parts of the story mode, you get a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you basically get a play it as it happened, or
What if?
or what if scenario. So like the first one is very simply like when you go to fight Raditz, do you take Piccolo with you or do you do it by yourself?
Okay.
So you can just say, no, I want to do it by myself and see what happens. And then if you beat it, I think there's conditions to those fights where it's like you have to beat it a certain way or within a certain time limit or something like that.
So if you pull it off, does it change the story at all, actually?
Some of it does. I haven't noticed too many of them yet.
Okay.
I'm assuming I may not have met the condition. Also, sometimes the fights just end. And I haven't quite understood it. Some of the ones I've been doing, like in the Boo Saga, or not the Boo Saga, the Super Saga,
Okay.
the fight just kind of ends.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's a time limit or if like it's a survive thing or a time limit or get into a health threshold. But some of them just end, and I'm like, oh, I guess I won.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a very accelerated pace. But yeah, with some of the, I assume with each character, you kind of get a couple what if choices along the way, and there's a story map where like you, for each saga it'll go to, and if there's a place where you can make a choice, you can go back and select that one to play that mission, and like you can see a branching path.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty clear where some of these choices could happen. You can go back and kind of replay that.
I just find it very entertaining, the whole fact of just Goku's point of view. I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of the stories very, very short all of a sudden.
Yeah, like the Cell Saga was like,
Because he's dead most of that saga.
Cell Saga was 2 fights.
Yeah, because Goku's dead most of that saga.
Yeah, it was like I fought Cell and then I fought a Cell Junior and that was it. But yeah, the story mode's kind of interesting. There are some very steep, like, difficulty spikes. I don't know if you've seen it. Great Ape Vegeta has been memed on like fucking crazy.
Just because of how hard it is?
It is. Once you kind of figure out an easy way to do it, it's very easy.
Okay.
But initially, that fight is fucking hard. There's a few times where like I was playing it and I'm like, what is this supposed to be a Dragon Ball game? What am I over getting my shit tossed for? Great Ape Vegeta, I mean I figured that one out in like two attempts.
Okay.
So like because the first time I fought him, he kind of just rushed at me and beat me down before I could do anything.
Yeah.
The second time I fought him, I got some space and it's like I got some space between us charged up and I would just like dodge his beam attacks and then hit him with like Kamehamehas and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just wore him down over time.
You just kited a big ape.
Yeah, basically just kited him around and it became super easy. Frieza was a sharp difficulty spike for me. That one, essentially there's a few fights where they kind of just rush you down and their beam attacks do a lot of damage. The other thing with it is this game is less focused on offense, or everybody has a lot of offense, basically. Okay. This game is super deep for combat.
Really?
Yes. Anybody that's picking this game up, and the first thing I recommend you doing is go to the tutorial options and play through every tutorial that they have. It is incredibly deep. Like I mean, a lot of the combat or a lot of the mechanics kind of go back to some of the old Dragon Ball games and stuff where guarding, it's not just hold the guard button. You can just hold the guard button. You can guard low, guard high, guard middle, timing your guard with like when a basic attack is like a basic combo attack is going to hit you. You vanish behind them. There's also different types of counters. Mm-hmm. They have a thing called perception, which is its own type of counter, essentially.
Okay.
They have there's normal counters, there's revenge counters, there's super counters. There's vanishing attacks. This combat is very deep.
I mean, god dang, yeah, for a 3D fighter, yeah, a Dragon Ball fighter at that.
Yeah, because it's like I was getting my ass kicked for a while. I went and I started doing all the tutorials, and then there's a very noticeable difference from knowing that you can do this stuff and just mashing.
Yeah.
Because even like I'm missing a lot of the timings right now because I'm just starting to like try to learn them. Immediately you notice a difference.
Okay.
And it very much starts to look like an actual anime fight.
A Dragon Ball fight?
Where like attacks are being thrown out and you're vanishing back. Like in the show, there's like sometimes when you see it from like the people in the streets perspective where they just see the vanishes and the stuff happening in the sky. It's kind of like that where like attacks will be being thrown out and you're vanishing back and forth over and over and over again, and then you end up landing a counter and do a beam attack or something like that. Very, very cool combat system. They went in with it, and from what I've seen, people are very much appreciating how much there is to the combat system.
I mean, that would actually be very nice compared, because just thinking about like the last time I played a Dragon Ball Fighter game, I mean, it was fairly standard for what we were used to for a Dragon Ball game. You could just mash to get through everything.
Yeah, I mean, and you can mash. You can mash and have a good time.
Yeah.
And it's like you can kind of mash your way through the story if you want to, because there is a mode called sparking mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially when you charge up all of your key bars. That's another thing. If you charge up all of your key bars and you have a skill point,
Okay.
then you can essentially overcharge your key to go into sparking mode. Then your basic attack combo string just continuously goes. You don't like knock them off in the distance. It's just a constant.
Oh, it just becomes an infinite?
It's just a constant flurry of blows during that. And you unlock, when you're in sparking mode, you have your ultimate beam attack available, or your ultimate attack available. Okay. But yes, there's essentially skill bars as well, which is next to your normal health bar and key bars. And some of the things like some of the various types of counters in the game only work if you have like one or two of those bars available, and it uses those.
Okay.
So kind of combat also has some resource management built into it as well.
Which I feel like they took a little bit of that from Fighter Z, because didn't Fighter Z have like a couple resources? Like I knew it had the like Shinron Dragon Balls, which you could somehow collect during the fight, which would allow you to do some stuff.
They probably took some inspiration from kind of everywhere that they could for it. But yeah, combat, the actual fighting mechanics of the game are very fun. And the more you kind of lean into it, because at first I was mashing, now I'm trying to actually learn some of the combat systems. And like I said, immediately rewarding to start using them. And then the other thing is, as you play through the story or play online matches and that, you gain experience towards your player level, and you gain money, which is the zenny in the game. And then there's a shop in the game where you can
buy outfits.
You can unlock outfits in the shop. You also unlock outfits as you play through the various story modes. But you can unlock them early if you want to. You can unlock characters with money. You can unlock, and this is like in-game money. And you can unlock equipment for your character, because each character has like some equipment slots where you can put on there for an extra key bar or rush attacks doing more damage.
Okay, so you can spec out characters.
So it's like you can kind of spec them out and you can unlock those in there. You can unlock background music. Most of the stuff like characters, outfits and stuff, if you played through all the instances of the story, you would be able to unlock.
But you can unlock them early if you want.
But you can unlock them early. And then as your player level progresses, more characters and more stuff shows up in the shop.
Okay. You know, John, all I can think now is with this whole story mode is, seeing as you get like what if choices for characters, all I can imagine now is, what are Krillin's what if choices?
I haven't gone there yet. When I was playing a little bit earlier today, I went to the shop and I unlocked a few characters that I wanted to try out.
Okay.
And then I was kind of just playing, like going into like free battle and or like single battle and just playing around with them, getting used to them. Unlike Bardock, I've always liked playing as Bardock. And then I forget the name of the other character I unlocked. But yeah, kind of just playing around with them, getting a feel for them. Because if I got to where I wanted to play online has a couple different modes.
Okay.
It has like single battle mode where like I
One
would
and
pick
done?
a character, you would pick a character, we go in and we fight.
Okay.
Then they have another mode, which is you can pick up to 5 characters, but each character, like you have a limited number of points to spend.
Okay.
And characters cost a certain number of points. So
Okay.
higher, more powerful characters can cost up to like 10 points.
Okay.
So you can either spread that out and get like 5 characters, because I think you have like it's 12 or 15 points to spend. So you can get like 5 3-point characters or something like that, or you can get a 10-point character and like 2 1-points or something like that. Which I haven't gone into that mode yet, but it seems kind of crazy that
I assume it's just fight until all your characters drop, I guess.
yeah, you would fight until you were out of characters. And there is a switching mechanic, which I think switching and transforming might cost. Yeah, I think that you have to have like skill points to be able to do that.
Gotcha.
Which they build up over the match. But yeah, there's like you can like if you wanted to go into a match as base form Goku, you could go in with Goku and then just transform your way up, or you could just transform or fuse. It like if you could fuse mid match as long as like people on your team are available for the fusion, which it tells you beforehand who like when you click a character or select one, it'll tell you who you would need to select to be able to activate certain fusions.
Gotcha.
So yeah, there's a lot more to this game than I was expecting. The story mode, I mean, granted, I've played through the story mode in every Dragon Ball game ever made.
Yeah.
But it is weird playing through a very advanced form of the story mode where it's like, okay, well, I'm used to playing all of the Saiyan saga into the Namek saga into Frieza and that. And it's like, no, I'm doing like 2 or 3 fights and we're moving on because that's the character that I have.
Because you're just doing the viewpoint of Goku, which makes the series a lot funnier.
Yeah, but then like the other you can play from like I said, there's a massive list of people that you can play through it as. You can play through it as like Gohan. I think you can play through it from Frieza's perspective.
Interesting.
So it's like several like you could play through. I don't know how many there are exactly, but you play through each different person's
Chiaotzu?
perspective. Chiaotzu's a playable character. I don't know if he has his own story mode, which I haven't tried him yet. But from what I've heard, like for ranked matches and stuff, very point efficient character.
I bet he is.
Because apparently, he may not be the best character there is, but his point value apparently is a bit underrated.
Really? Okay. That's sort of surprising, seeing as Chiaotzu's never really ever gotten love.
But yeah, it's a game I haven't put a whole ton of time into yet, but...
Question.
Yeah, go for it.
And this goes all the way up to Super, right?
Yeah, I'm currently in Super with Goku.
Okay.
And I've looked at the character list, and yeah, it at least goes through Tournament of Power.
Gotcha.
Because there's characters that only appear in the Tournament of Power on that list.
Okay.
And then there more characters will be coming
At some point.
They already have a season pass and everything. But yeah, it's been fun so far. I've been having a blast with it, and I do appreciate because one of the annoying things in some of these Dragon Ball games in the past has been unlock conditions for characters.
Yeah.
So far, every character that I've unlocked has just been you play a story. Some of them don't make sense when I unlock them.
Okay.
Like I did the Buu saga with Goku, and I unlocked Oob.
Okay.
And he never appeared in the story.
I was about to say, I don't think Goku has anything to do with Oob in that saga.
No, it's just because it jumps from there to Super. So it's like, well, this is the only time he would be mentioned, really. So it unlocked him, and I'm like, I don't understand why I got that character there.
Okay.
And it's like and like Yajirobe, I don't know why I unlocked him on the mission I did.
The fact that you can play as Yajirobe is sort of wild to me.
But yeah, it's like some of the characters don't necessarily make sense when I get them because I'm like, okay, well, I didn't see that character in that mission, but okay. But the fact that like also a lot of the characters are just available to purchase, where it's like, here, go buy them. It's like because you get a shitload of the money.
I mean, I
And
bet
they're cheap. Like the characters are cheap.
it's in-game currency. I mean, why not?
So it's like you do a mission and you go buy a character or buy a couple characters. So the fact that like purely if like you just wanted to do like battle, I assume like if you went to online battle you can just play as anybody.
Okay.
Or maybe you do have to unlock the character. I don't know. You wouldn't know how to play him if you just went online with him though.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to practice with him, you have to unlock him, it's nice that some of the characters are there. And it's like, okay, well, I want to play as this character. So, yeah, I'll just buy him here. And like I said, as you play through the story and kind of level up or do online and get player levels, more characters show up in that shop.
Okay. Overall, how would you rate it?
Overall, very surprisingly good. Like, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, pick it up.
Yeah.
If you're not a Dragon Ball fan, if you're just if you're an anime arena fighter fan, I'd say pick it up.
You can't be disappointed with this one versus all the other arena fighters.
Yeah, and if it's like if you tend to like arena fighters in general, this one's got a really good combat system you might enjoy.
Alrighty. Well, on that note, we should probably hit Rogue Energy. One of our sponsors for the show. You can use our promo code SPARKY3 for 10% off. And if you don't want to use our code, because there's probably a better code, if you just want to click the link, that actually helps us out immensely. And now's a very good time because Rogue just introduced their Dragon Fruit Lemonade energy tub. Just released as of yesterday. So go check that out. That's a new flavor. I'm not sure how I feel about Dragon Fruit and Lemonade, but I assume it's probably good. I don't know, John. That sound interesting to you at all?
I don't know. I saw it and I couldn't tell if I was sold on it or not.
That is fair.
Yeah.
So
I was just gonna say in other big gaming comebacks.
I was about to say now we're at the fun topic that Alex just left as a fun time.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this just briefly. Mentioned it earlier. Backyard Baseball 1997 version came out on Steam this week, and I actually saw. I think I saw an article earlier. I haven't tried it yet. I think it's Steam Deck compatible.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me.
Well, it's a mouse point and click game, so I'm a little curious how it plays.
Okay.
So I might have to try that out.
I didn't realize it was point and click, but okay.
Well, yeah, it's kind of everything is just mouse interactions. But yeah, Backyard Baseball 97 came out on Steam. It's like $10 on Steam. I picked it up. I've been playing it. It's fun. It's nostalgic. It's exactly as it's one of those where a lot of times game comes out or like a remaster or something comes out,
Yeah.
and you play it and you're like, this isn't exactly how I remembered it playing or something like this. No, this is just exactly what I remember it being. It's hard to fuck it up.
Yeah. I'm really hoping because this week I actually picked up, along with Metaphor, the Dead Rising Deluxe remaster because I missed that it came out. And I mean, everything I've seen on it, it's a solid remaster. I personally haven't seen any bad reviews about it.
No, I think everything I've seen so far has just been like people been happy with it.
And my only thing with it is because I got went hard on the original Dead Rising because that was back when I bought a strategy book for it. So I'm very much curious how many of the cheese strategies for some of the psychopaths and stuff are still available for me to use. Because there's a lot of just little gimmick things you can do in Dead Rising, which is nice.
I would assume it's pretty much everything still.
I would have hoped so, because I mean most of them was literally just pathing stuff that I want to abuse. Hopefully they didn't fix it, like the convicts and them constantly getting stuck in the goddamn trees. Like one of the things that the one weird roguelike element that it was the original Dead Rising of you starting at level 1 and just having to level up Frank up to 50, and every time you die he just keeps his level.
Yeah.
It was always sort of weird in hindsight now. I know there is a lot of quality of life stuff that was brought up with the remaster, like being able to save outside of restrooms.
Yeah, I never really got into Dead Rising. Like I kind of missed it.
Yeah.
When I finally got like my 360 and that, and went back and tried to play it like way later. It's hard to go back and play.
It's fairly rough, yeah, if you didn't play it back then, because it was launch title for 360, so it is very clunky.
Yeah.
The one thing I do find funny is just all the costumes that came out with it. All the Resident Evil and Mega Man costumes, because of just the ridiculousness that is Dead Rising, the costumes you can put Frank in.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, like, I haven't fully jumped into it, but just watching some stuff on it, just the overall graphics overhaul is very jarring. Not in a bad way, because the graphics do look good. It's just with my mind of the original Dead Rising, just seeing how much the graphics upped for the remaster, I'm just like, even just from far, I was like, this doesn't look right. My brain doesn't want to accept it. I mean, it looks good, but my brain doesn't want to accept it.
I guess I just haven't. I guess I haven't seen anything on the remaster, so I don't know what it currently looks like, and I don't remember what it used to look like.
For a simple comparison, even though it's not necessarily fitting, think PS1 polygons, and then suddenly going to Unreal Engine 5.
That seems like a bit of a stretch.
It for me
a bit though.
For me, that's how fairly jarring it is.
Okay.
Other than that, interestingly enough, Tribe 9 will actually be having a open beta next week for anyone who might be interested in trying out the Danganronpa creators gacha game in the form of Tribe 9, or interesting baseball death game.
You gonna play it again?
I might, because it did do a reset, but it's literally just the same content that was.
So that's I wasn't sure if it was additional content, or because sometimes when they do like closed to open betas, they'll add some stuff.
Well, it is going to be the same content from open beta. So the initial chapter 0 introduction and the entirety of chapter 1 up to the climax. The only exception of added content is quality of life stuff from the feedback from the closed beta. So it does mention changes to gameplay and whatnot, mostly the combat, as well as some character roster adjustments for this one. So there may be some different characters in it to mess with and play with.
Okay.
I mean, again, it's open beta. I don't know if downloads are open currently for everybody. At least the email I got said downloads were already up, but I don't know if that's just for sign-up people or people who already had access from the closed beta.
Okay.
But I need to know, at least on Steam, it should be opening up downloads because it's going from the 14th all the way to the 21st.
Okay. So yeah, if you were interested in it, you might as well go look and see if you can download it or pre-install it or something.
Yeah. Again, it's going to be open beta. From what the sounds of it, like it's going to be another profile wipe after the fact. So, I mean, we'll probably get a bunch of free currency and whatnot just to play with stuff and stress test stuff.
Okay.
Other than that, still staying on the gotcha. I've just been messing with a lot of Zenless stuff. Update 1.2 came out this month with Chapter 4 and a bunch of stuff. Quality of life stuff. Just been messing with that, enjoying that. enjoying my Zenless life.
Yeah, I see you on there a lot.
I mean, I've finished all main content. I'm just at high-end stuff, just specking people at this point. I'm just farming mats and specking.
Yeah. I haven't gone back to that game in a long time. I've had other stuff come out that
Give
I've
me
been
your
playing.
account.
No.
Man, I could level all your people.
You know, you could just if you want to play it again, you could just make another account.
That has crossbow. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy Zenless. I've considered just making a second account.
Yeah, that's one where like I enjoyed the game while I was playing it, but immediately other stuff came out, and I started playing. I think that was when First Descendant came out.
Yeah.
And then I've been bouncing around ever since.
Well, with 1.2, they did actually do a major change because the whole the Phaethon gameplay point of it, or the whole TV screens, it got such a big backlash from my understanding of the large portion of the Chinese community where the developers originated from, and then a fair amount from the rest of the community, that going forward, the main stories are not going to have at this time they said none of that TV screen stuff. They're just not fully getting rid of that gameplay. They still plan on doing stuff with it and revamping it. But as it stands for like the main story chapters for the main content, it's not going to have any of the TV screen stuff. Yeah.
I feel like that was part of the uniqueness of it.
That's how a lot of the Western community felt about it, but apparently the Chinese and majority of the Eastern was very heavily against it, which caused the change. Literally after getting a event in 1.1 that actually did the whole TV navigation thing very well, and people were actually okay with it. But again, it's not going completely away. They're just shuttering it at the moment and going to revamp it and go from there. It is for sure not going to be in any main chapter content updates going forward, as they've said, which is very visible in Chapter 4 with the whole Outer Ring stuff. And instead we ended up with a weird racing minigame.
Sure.
Yeah, and then Tuesday it's the second half of 1.2, so get a new Aiden story, new agent, some more events.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I've been, like I said, I picked up Backyard Baseball, been playing that, and it was announced, mentioned it to you beforehand, that with the success of Backyard Baseball 97 has seen, they're going to be remastering and bringing back several more games as well. They had said before that they had other stuff they were working on, and it was officially revealed that they were like, this apparently is worth continuing to do.
Bringing back to life.
It's like people seem to be enjoying this, or at least they seem to be enjoying it.
They're getting a lot of traffic.
They're getting the traffic. People are buying it, and people are at least supporting it. So it looks like Backyard Soccer 98.
Okay.
Backyard Football 99. Backyard Baseball 01. And Backyard Hockey 02 will be re-released. Okay. Or they're going to be released on Steam.
Gotcha.
Like you can if you search Backyard on Steam, they'll pop up. If you just click on the if you go to Backyard Baseball and just click on the publisher page, they don't show up yet.
Oh, that's weird.
Because I think it's in the process of getting there.
Gotcha.
They were just put on, so you can search them and wish list them if you want to. Cool to see that they're coming back with those, and maybe they'll be working on something new as well.
A new one.
But yeah, cool to see a lot of these, because I played Backyard Baseball growing up all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't play these other sports ones. I'll probably pick these up and give them a try.
Still a wild series to come back almost a decade later after dying out.
Yeah. Still very enjoyable to play. I have had a smile on my face the entire time I've been playing backyard
It's a
baseball.
good thing.
But yeah, other than that, I was talking to you about it a little bit beforehand. Yeah, I picked up Dark Souls, kind of out of nowhere.
John is finally on his Souls marathon after dipping his toe with Elden Ring and Wukong.
I've been saying for a long time I wanted to play the Souls games, and I just kept putting it off. Started Elden Ring a couple months back. Was enjoying it. Kind of just put it to the side though, because open world. It's like open world, do whatever you want aspect of it kind of started to overwhelm me, and found myself not like I'd hop on, couldn't decide what I wanted to do, and hopped off. That was kind of what I was doing. I'd hop in, ride around a little bit, and I was like, I don't know what to do, and then so I was like, had the thought. I was like, we'll go back. I've been saying I wanted to play these games for a while, so yeah, I picked up Dark Souls remastered, and I've been playing through it. I don't know, about 8-9 hours in right now, and been absolutely loving it.
And that's a good thing. Now I'll just skip 2, go to 3, move on from there.
Probably what I'll do. That's what seems to be the general recommendation.
Similar to Devil May Cry. I honestly don't know why, but Devil May Cry is the same thing. People say play 3, then 1 for chronological reasons. Don't even bother with 2. Go straight to 4.
See, I was looking up because I almost bought Dark Souls 3 before 1 because everything I see is people recommend playing 3 before 1.
Because it's more friendly than 1, yeah.
But I look at it and I'm like, well, I don't want to play the newer game and then go back to some jank.
That's fair.
So I was like, if I'm gonna play jank, let me go back and play with a little bit of jank, and then move forward from there. But yeah, it's been fun. I've been still very confused. I was telling you beforehand some of the confusion I had where I've ended up at some bosses before others,
and just completely understandable with just how Dark Souls 1 was laid out. I mean, other than people's messages, there's no real guidance other than game developer setup for the area, and then they hope the player notices.
Yeah, it's like, because I told you I got lost for like an hour and a half because I missed 2 staircases.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun going back and seeing how these games are made and like how they play, because there is nothing. It's like you kill a boss and you get a key, and it's like, I guess I got to find the door that this key goes to now. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Been having a blast with it. No idea how long the game is. No idea how far I am into it.
I mean, it's pretty sure it's the shortest of all the Dark Souls. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah. Don't know how far I am into it. I think I'm about to head in. I made one venture and died and haven't gone back yet into Blight Town.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun. I'll beat that and then
go to 3.
Probably go to 3.
And from there,
it seems to be the most recommended thing to do.
Then after you beat 3, will you look at maybe going back to Elden Ring, start from scratch there?
I think I'm gonna go 3, and then I'm either gonna do Demon Souls or Bloodborne.
You think you'll ever try Sekiro?
I think if I make it through all these, which I now that I've played it and I'm actually having a lot of fun with it, I might. It seems to be very, very much regarded as the hardest one.
Yep.
So
Sekiro is not forgiving.
So I may get there in the end. But yeah, I've now said it before when I started Elden Ring, but now that I'm going backwards and starting and going to move forward from back in time.
Yeah.
Officially starting my Souls journey now. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, it was funny. I was Like I was wanting to play Sparking Zero, but
Yeah.
then I started Dark Souls before it. So I was playing Sparking Zero. I'm like, man, I just want to go play Dark Souls.
That's a heck of a thing. All right.
But it's like, but then like I sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm like, no, I'm gonna sit down and play Sparking Zero, and I'm like, I play it for a couple hours. I'm like, damn, this game's fun.
Yeah. Got anything else that been messing with this week?
Started playing a game co-op with a buddy of mine. Called The Survivalists.
I have no idea what that
It's
is.
been on my wish list on Steam for a couple years now. It keeps going on. It goes on sale for like $2.
Okay. Damn.
It's a top-down, like, survival craft game.
Okay.
Where it's like you spawn in typical survival game type stuff where make a stone axe to cut down trees to get wood to make a pickaxe and all that stuff. And then it's like, I don't know what all there is to the game yet. We've played it twice for like 7 hours or something. Their kind of unique aspect of the game is you can save, there's like monkeys wandering around
Okay.
or like around the map or in cages that you can rescue and bring them back to your base. And then you can tell the monkeys to do things. So like the monkeys will craft items for you. They'll pick stuff up.
Okay.
I don't know how it all works. I haven't messed with telling them what to do, but my buddy I've been playing with, he figured out how to tell them how to do everything. So I go up to the workbench or the forge or something. I'm like, okay, make 10 of these, and then I come back and 10 of them are made. I don't quite know how the telling them how to do stuff thing works.
You're just becoming Tarzan with your monkey army.
But yeah, it's fun. There's like you can build a raft and sail different islands. I don't know how much more there is to the game. I don't know how big the map is or anything. We've explored like 2 islands, and then have kind of just been unlocking everything as we go. So I assume there's more stuff to unlock or figure out how to do, because we haven't figured out how to make a backpack yet, but we have materials that say they're used to make backpacks.
Okay.
So we don't know how to do it, so there's clearly more for us to figure out.
Alrighty then.
But yeah, that's about all I've been doing. Otherwise, like I've been bouncing between that, Dark Souls, Sparking Zero, and Backyard Baseball. What a lineup to be talking about.
I was about to say, that's a bit of a gap there. There's some genre stretching there.
That's a lineup and a half to be rotating between.
Yep. Meanwhile, I'm just doing gotcha and metaphor right now, so.
But yeah, so I've been having fun. It's like it's kind of funny. I kind of took like about a week and a half, 2 weeks where I didn't hardly touch any games or anything. And then I come back and I'm like playing like 6 different games of all different genres and having an absolute blast with all of them.
All right. I would say that's a win for a week for you. Going into the end of October, because you don't really have anything else coming out this month.
Oh, I don't know what's coming out. I don't think I really have anything big coming out. I think Stalker comes out in like a couple months.
Yeah, that's in like January, isn't it? Or February?
I thought it was like November or December.
I thought it got pushed back.
It may have gotten pushed back. That was like the next notable game that I was going to try.
I was thinking it was like January, but maybe it is November still.
I thought it was like November, and it may have gotten pushed back. But that was the next one, like for the year, that I knew I was looking forward to.
Okay.
So yeah, I got a bit of an open book right now to be playing. It's funny. It's one of those things where everybody's got their backlog.
Yeah.
The Souls game's been on my backlog for a long time. Finally playing it. Finally doing it.
I got a couple weeks to burn through Metaphor before dipping my toes into Veilguard, so. because that would be my next one I would be looking at is Veilguard, and hoping that everything we've seen about it being the comeback of Dragon Age that we've hoped it would be, or I guess the Veilguard.
Oh yeah, the Veilguard. That one I wasn't sold on, but I was interested in.
Yeah.
That might be something. I haven't played a Dragon Age game before.
I mean, all the early access stuff we're saying it's the Dragon Age game we're hoping for to bring the series back. So,
yeah, the only Dragon Age game I've even attempted to play is
Inquisition,
and
rough choice.
Well, it was weird because I played it on a TV that wasn't super good quality, so I struggled with it, or like trying to play it because I couldn't.
So already sort of what was considered the rough game of the 3 on a terrible TV.
Yeah, it was like on my old TV, which was one that I had for a long time.
Was it like the box TV?
No, it was like the first flat screen TV that I had.
I think I vaguely remember that one.
But it was a kind of a smaller TV, but it's like by the time I tried to play Inquisition on it, it wasn't very good quality anymore. It was dying. So I had a rough time being able to see things in the environment.
Yeah.
And I just ended up dropping it.
That's fair.
And I've considered, that's another one where I'm like, I kind of want to go back and try to play Dragon Age
I got to go back to it eventually. Because, I mean, I literally got to the end game point of it and I just left it.
Well, just like Dragon Age in general, I would like to play at some point. The problem is, like, Dragon Age Origins is usually unanimously considered the best one, right?
Yeah.
But there's that, and then Dragon Age 2. They're pretty dated now.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where I'd like to go back and play it, but
Origins probably wouldn't be too bad because it is very much classical style tactical RPG more than action RPG.
See, that wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. So I mean it's dated, yes, but in terms of like comfortability and whatnot, it's actually not too bad because it is very classic style gameplay. 2 would probably be a little bit more rough because it is a weird introduction to where we were starting to see the transition of tactical RPGs turning more into tactical action RPGs.
I remember a long time ago coming over to your place and seeing you playing Dragon Age 2. It looked cool. It was just not a series I got into.
Yeah. I mean, now it would probably be dated. It might be a little rough. A lot of people didn't really like Dragon Age 2 because of a bunch of different things in it. I mean, it was fine for me.
Yeah. It could be one where, like, it might be something where the Veilguard comes out and I give it a try. If I enjoy it enough, I might go back and play the rest of them.
Again, Origins would be fine.
Yeah, because it's one where, like, Veilguard might be something that I kind of, it may go to my back burner for now.
Yeah.
Because I'm finally kind of on some new, or like my backlog of stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of want to play through what I'm enjoying right now and not try to push them back again. That's usually what I do.
Yeah.
I start playing something, I get in, it's fun, and then something new comes out and I try it and I push it back.
All right. Yeah, I didn't try that because I finally touched the first Mafia game a couple weeks back and played a fair amount of it.
Did you not play that?
Not the original Mafia. I played 2 and 3.
I think the original one's the only one that I've played most of. I think I played about 3/4 of the way through it.
See, by the time I took note of the Mafia series, it was at the point where the original Mafia was hella hard to find. Because it's hard to find a PS2 copy of Mafia.
I think I might have a digital copy of it somewhere.
See, but I'm talking physical.
Yeah, I know you're talking physical.
Because it wasn't digital yet at that time.
Yeah, I think that I think it was only a few years back that I tried to play it for the first time.
I mean, I want to say all the Mafia game remastered ones are actually currently on Game Pass, so that's why I touched it, because I saw it was on Game Pass. And on that note, let's talk about Age and Ink. Agent Inc. It's our shop. We have things. We got jerseys, which you can always check out all of our jerseys. They look fantastic. You can check out one of our 2 hats because we got hats. Just go check out Agent Inc. Even if look at our stuff. Even if you don't buy any stuff, at least go check out Agent Inc. Give them a view or something. They've done us well with everything, with us even being a small time group. So yeah, Agent Inc.'s good. I don't remember our promo code. I don't think we have a promo code.
I do not know.
Okay. Check them at the link below and check out our jerseys and hats because we have hats. And I want a hat. We have hats hat.
You gotta get what you gotta talk to Alex about that.
I do every time.
I know. You just gotta keep hammering him though. Yeah. Kind of moving on to some weekly wrap up stuff. Unless you got something else.
Nope, I'm good.
I was gonna say Halo actually had some very fun news this week.
I'm gonna be honest. I missed all of this.
I saw this. This is actually pretty exciting news. So they came out and 343. They're dumping the name. They are becoming Halo Studios.
Interesting choice. Go, all right, carry on.
343's got some bad connotations to it, right? They are now Halo Studios,
okay.
And they came out with a video basically saying we're Halo Studios now. They've the slip space engine that they were developing and working on for like Halo Infinite, completely done away with.
Okay,
they've scrapped it, and they're working in Unreal Engine now.
Woo!
Which, in the video, like it's actually crazy to think that they released this with all these people who worked on the game talking about it. Everybody was so excited to not be working on slip space anymore. Everybody was so positive about Unreal. They're like, we don't have to be like a tech company and a game developer to make the game anymore. Now we can just make a game.
Yeah.
But so it's exciting to hear that. But yeah, they'll be working in Unreal Engine 5 for future projects, which, I mean, looks fantastic. So I'm at least excited for that. So it's like maybe now they can just focus on making a good game instead of trying to build a game around a half-working engine.
And then focus on the multiplayer that people don't necessarily enjoy nowadays.
Yeah. Speaking to that, apparently the Halo BR that Alex has been super excited about for a long time, gone. Canned at some point. But yeah. Looks like Halo Infinite 2 was also in development before being canceled, it's claimed. Basically, when they made the decision to swap engines, decided we're basically throwing away everything we have for it, so we're just not going to work on it.
It's good. Infinite didn't have much of a good rep either.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, if you're getting rid of 343, you might as well get rid of Infinite, or like scrap the name and work on something new. Campaign team that was let go never felt supported by leadership at the studio. Can understand that.
I mean, but it seems very obvious from the campaigns we've got across the last couple games. I mean, people have sort of been okay with them, but they also have seemed very lackluster at times.
The last good campaign was Reach, or like that was the last one that was like people look back fondly of. Nobody, like 4 was where it started getting weird. Nobody liked 5, and Infinite was like, I mean, cool idea with the open world aspect of it, but
you didn't give us the multiplayer to be able to really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's like we can't, like, even when me and Alex tried to play co-op of Halo Infinite, like campaign, it was a nightmare. Yeah, this was months after it was supposedly fixed. It's like it was hard to get a co-op game to work.
Yeah.
So hopefully now, not having to deal with the engine, just using Unreal Engine 5, we can get a good Halo game again. So hopefully,
Halo Studios will revive.
yeah, hopefully Halo Studios, formerly 343, can make a good Halo game, which is, it's part of the
Make a comeback, get Sony off their ass.
Part of the reason to change to Halo Studios as well as 343. You mentioned 343, and people don't get excited; they get nervous.
Yeah.
So yeah, ditch the name, make a good game, and people will forget about it.
Where on the other hand, Nintendo
Goddamn
announced an alarm clock.
Nintendo, you fucking idiots.
Alarmo.
I saw an article about this. I went, please tell me that's fake.
I'm going to be honest. I saw an article that said something you can use your Switch as a clock. And I went, okay, and moved on. I didn't go further than that. Did not realize this was a thing.
I saw the picture of it, and I saw the name Alarmo. I never saw a price. I am so fucking disappointed.
So, as John mentioned, the price is $100
for a fucking alarm clock.
And it can be ordered currently. But, John, you can set the theme of multiple Nintendo franchises to wake you up in the morning.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that with any other device.
For free.
I can do that. I can do that on my phone.
I'm going to be honest. This is going to be one of those Nintendo baking on their Nintendo and people just being like, yeah, I'll buy it because it's Nintendo.
People are going to buy this. You know how I know that? People bought fucking Labo. This is more useful.
It is more useful than Labo.
But $100 for an alarm clock is a bit steep.
That's, yeah. Considering a lot of people nowadays, at least in my circle, use their phones as their alarms.
Yeah, I've used my phone has been my alarm since I've had a smartphone.
So, yeah, I mean, I haven't actually seen pictures of it. I hope it's at least a nice looking alarm clock.
Okay, I got to pull this up for you.
Is it dumb? Am I about to be disappointed, John? Because I really don't want to be. Because I'm gonna hope it for $100 it's at least a decent looking clock, so at least people can use it as a memorabilia thing. And be like, hey, I have this, before they don't sell them anymore and they skyrocket in price. Well, while he's looking that up.
Okay, it's not the best picture.
Okay. I'm not a fan of that.
It's
quite literally an alarm clock.
It's just it's a circular alarm clock, and that's all it is.
That's disappointing. So you're literally paying for the licensed music. God dang it.
Yeah, you're paying for a Nintendo licensed. Not even. I wouldn't even say music. I would say Nintendo licensed sounds.
Yes. But where I was going, so Xbox has apparently announced another special edition console and controller collab that's once again only for giveaway. This time it is Indiana Jones. I actually saw the console.
I haven't seen this. I didn't know about this. Does it look cool?
The console actually looked fairly nice. I have not seen the controller, though.
Gotta look at it. Okay, you weren't here. Did you see that the Fortnite controller for PS5 is available for pre-order?
No.
Oh, man, you gotta look at this thing.
I saw. Okay, let me take that back. I saw that this was a thing. I did not look at the controller. Is it dumb?
Oh yeah.
God dang it!
I bought it.
God dang it!
It looks fucking dumb.
What was it? 300?
No. It's a pre-order controller, so it's just market price.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah, it just looks fucking dumb.
Okay, gotcha. You'll have to show me a picture afterwards.
Yeah, it's not available. It comes out first week of November.
Okay.
But yeah, it doesn't look great.
Yeah. So yeah, I knew about the console giveaway for the Indiana Jones. I did not see the controller, so I can't tell you the controller. The console, I mean, it didn't look bad. I mean, it was very bright though, so it would stick out wherever you put it, unless you're sticking on like a windowsill for the sunlight to match with it. But in other news, Red Dead Redemption 1 and Red Dead Undead Nightmare is coming to PC on 10/29. Cross our fingers that it's a decent port and that it doesn't get just dropped again.
I have like no faith.
Oh, I don't.
I have like no faith in Sony ports.
I don't. So did you look up the Indiana Jones?
It is okay. It's cool, but it's like low impact.
Oh, the controller, yeah. Okay, I guess I just missed it in the picture I saw because that's the picture I saw. I didn't even notice the controller
Yeah, the controller is like a dark brown type color
with like gold trim.
Yeah, it's gold on the backside and gold thumbsticks and D-pad.
Yeah, it's a very mellow controller. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it is very mellow.
It's I would say that's a good looking controller. I don't know that I'll pick it up, but I might.
But then it's giveaway only.
Yeah, I will try. Well, yeah, I mean, I'll pick one. I can pick one up later. Depends on what the price is.
All right, John. So Alien Isolation is getting a sequel and it's in early development. Rumor Ubisoft to release 10 Assassin's Creed games over the next 5 years. I saw an article saying this. I went, God dang it.
Dude. Then you got me saying, dude, just stop with Assassin's Creed. It's like nobody cares.
I mean, I said the same thing like a couple weeks back, and Alex told me to stop. So
the problem is Assassin's Creed. I said this a few weeks ago. Assassin's Creed doesn't mean anything anymore.
It really doesn't.
It's like decide on what it is and then continue making it or release something for it.
I mean, Valhalla was fairly well received, even though most people say it's too much of a time sink.
Yeah, but I also Valhalla, I also wouldn't call an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
It's a Viking RPG.
Yes, it is. Mirage came out with middling reviews, going back to the more classical Assassin's Creed style. It's
because it came out with middling reviews, but everybody I've seen that's played it loved it.
I didn't touch it because I was unsure about it, and when I saw the middling reviews, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe when I go back to on sale. And then we have Shadows coming out, which, cross your fingers, we're not entirely sure what we're getting.
Again, it doesn't look like an Assassin's Creed game.
It doesn't.
That's part of my problem is these aren't Assassin's Creed games.
At this point, there's almost at the Call of Duty issue they had with 2 different studios releasing game interspersely.
Yeah. You're just releasing a game and calling it Assassin's Creed.
And throwing Assassin's Creed on it, yes. You're just using a name. New trailer for Expedition 33 comes out on 10/16.
Gonna be very excited for that.
I'm excited for that too, because we got a couple days to see that. Hopefully get a lot more info on it, because, I mean, we've got a little bit of gameplay and stuff like that. Still very intrigued by it.
Yeah. Right now, that's one of the games I'm most looking forward to.
Steam has now added a warning to customers that they are only buying a license for a game and don't actually own it. This is ahead of a new law that forbids digital storefronts selling games from using terms like buy unless they tell players that they're only buying a license. So this is a warning in terms of letting everyone know, hey, digital means it can go away. You do not own this, just merely a license to play it on your system.
This is basically the first step in getting people to accept what I accepted like a decade ago.
Yeah.
Where I am buying digital games. I understand that since I am buying a digital game, there could be a time where I open it up and it is gone.
You no longer have access to, regardless of any number of situations, whether it's been taken away from the store, lost access to it, or whatever storefront and whatnot you bought it from, it no longer exists, so has no access to it.
It's like this stems from a couple things.
I think one of the biggest things being the Helldivers issue.
Probably the Helldivers issue. Also, when the crew went offline.
Yep.
Was another one. What was the other one I was thinking of? Horizon Zero Dawn. When Remastered was released, they delisted the non-remastered version of the game.
Forgot about that.
So I don't think they got pulled from libraries, but they could. Because if they would have wanted to, they could have done it.
Which is similar to Age of Mythology, when the newer, updated version of it, the regular Age of Mythology on Steam, for whatever reason, they just color blinded it and just made it like completely black and white.
Yeah.
Color washed it for some reason.
Yeah. But it's one where I'm glad they're changing the terminology. It's
Yes.
probably the thing is it's probably gonna fucking freak people out for a while with digital games.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna keep buying digital games. It's like very rare circumstances am I gonna buy a physical game. Usually Switch related because Switch digital games suck.
Yes, they do. Well, I take that back. They're rough.
They're not. It's not
optimized.
It's not a good menuing system to try to like find anything. You don't have a library or anything. And then some games I'll buy physical, but most of them not.
Yeah.
But this I do like the warning of letting people know, hey, just so we can stop getting in trouble for this.
Yeah. Which is a good move on Steam's part and probably why some lawyers had to look into and go, okay, we got to change this.
Yeah. Too much controversy happening in 1 year for them to not make it change.
Yeah. Some news from last week. Apparently, Ubisoft is considering buying a buyout with Tencent to take the company private because of all the crap stocks and prices it's been being open to the public and their failures. That'll be interesting.
I don't think Ubisoft knows what their problem is.
I don't think Ubisoft does either, but it's also Ubisoft.
Ubisoft doesn't know who to blame for
their failures.
Their failures, their game. They want to blame anybody and everybody except themselves.
Yes.
And it is amazing to watch what used to be a titan of the industry flounder and go point fingers and turn in a circle and go, your fault. It's like, no.
You're at fault. We're still going to pump out these games.
It's like, we're going to pump out this uninspired game with a skin on it.
So Silent Hill 2 came out last week, and the reviews are absolutely fantastic.
Who would have guessed?
Everybody. Found out that it's still possible for some points in the game to soft lock yourself, which I found hilarious is still in the game. Definitely a game I'm going to have to look at picking up at some point because it came out and I was re-looking at my collection. I will need it for my collection.
I'm going to be so pissed at the end of the year.
Why?
This is probably going to be in Game of the Year.
It probably is.
And it's going to piss me off. No, I mean, I'm glad that it's like remake comes out. It gets glowing reviews. I am, like I've said before, I am a fan of more than anything accessibility for these games. And
my thing about it, like when I said whenever we first heard about it, is pray that it did well and didn't bomb, considering how much of a years gap it's been since the original Silent Hill 2. And my thought process of it's going to be very hard to screw this up.
Yeah.
And they managed to nail it. Also, what came out last week was Diablo 4's expansion, Vessel of Hatred, which has come out to also fantastic reviews. I haven't kept up with Diablo 4, so I don't know anything about it.
This is probably they've probably made some more changes since the last time I tried to play Diablo 4.
Yeah.
And if people are enjoying these seasons as they come out and these expansions as they come out, absolutely love it. I will go back to Diablo 4 at some point. Last time I tried to do it, I was not feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, this is what a lot of people was hoping for Diablo after its lackluster initial release and sort of first season. So
yeah, so it's like if people are really enjoying this, then that is only a good thing. That means when I go back to Diablo, it's going to be better for me.
It should be a completely different experience. Starfield Shattered Space came out and was apparently awful.
They don't know what people want.
And apparently Starfield continues to be very lackluster, even with it was slowly coming back with people.
It's just one where you can keep adding on to it. The problem is they're expecting one update to change everybody's perspective on the game.
I mean, Cyberpunk did it.
Yeah, but Cyberpunk did it after constantly updating and making changes and like being like, hey, we're slowly fixing this to where it was a good game before
They did the overhaul.
The overhaul, and then they did the overhaul, and they're like, we did it. This is like Starfield. You need like another year to like change your game or like add more stuff to your game before people are gonna come back to it and go, oh, this game is awesome now.
Yeah, Starfield's having it rough. I have a feeling that this is going to be one that we're going to try and let just slide back into obscurity as long as Bethesda doesn't keep pushing it.
They're going to keep pushing it for like 5 or 6 years probably. Eventually, I do believe that eventually Starfield will be a game that you can go back to and have a completely different opinion on.
And look fondly on.
It came out. I just think they're trying to push that narrative too hard, too early. They do a small update. They're like, everybody come back. Look at all the changes we made. And we go, well, yeah, that's not at all what my complaint for the game was.
Hopefully Starfield will get a harrowing moment at some point. So apparently Avatar, Last Airbender, is getting a AAA action RPG with Saber Interactive and Paramount Game Studios. God, focusing on all new, never before seen Avatar that is taking place 1,000 years in the past.
The way he put this in here, I would never have got that he meant The Last Airbender.
Oh, okay.
I was looking, I was like, show not blue people. What does that mean?
Well, it
I
also
just assumed that it was.
It wouldn't also work because the blue people already have a game.
I would have assumed it was going to be like
another one,
a game like that, not a Ubisoft game.
Okay, that's fair. But yes, Avatar: The Last Airbender is going to get a action RPG, which I'll be very curious, seeing as it's Saber and Paramount Game Studios. I don't know exactly what to expect from that besides throwing elements around.
It could.
Seeing as it's going in the past, they literally have a slew of avatars they can just pluck one up.
I guess I need more information on what they mean by action RPG. That's too open-ended these days for me to be able to understand what type of game they want to create. They want to create like a Diablo type action RPG or like a third-person adventure action RPG.
I would hope a third-person action RPG.
That would probably be more fun.
That would probably be more in line to the Avatar: Last Airbender versus doing a loot in, I guess, elemental spray game.
Nah, make it a Warriors game.
I'd be down for that. I'm not even gonna lie. I'd be okay.
I know you would.
But the Warriors games outside of their, we'll see how Origins go, seeing as the main line has been sort of rough. I'm gonna be honest though, I am looking forward to the remake of Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8, what Koei Tecmo's making, because that 8 was a fantastic game in that series. And then Xbox wants to know why game devs skipped their console in favor of PS5.
Okay, main reason you have reason number one, the Xbox Series S.
Even though both you and me have them and we like them.
It's like I said a couple weeks ago. The Xbox Series S is it's like it was a fantastic idea for consumers, horrible idea for developers.
And just for context, John, this was I want to say it was a Twitter thing. They put it on one of the game developers' posts about something and asked that question, if I remember correctly.
Terrible.
And Alex put a basic reason Xbox games don't sell, and obviously Series S issues.
Well, it's hard to. Well, I was gonna say it's hard to just flat out say Xbox games don't sell, but then again, we don't get Xbox games. We get multi-plat games.
Yes. And once again, this generation has not had a large slew of Xbox-specific games or first-party games.
Well, don't worry, they're coming.
Finally, at the end of the
they're gonna come
at the tail end of the generation.
Yeah, they're gonna come, and 6 months later, we're gonna get a new console.
But then once we get that new console, we'll go, dang, those exclusives from the series were actually good. That we got at the tail end.
Yeah, fucking wild. this is one of those where it's like Xbox is like, why don't our games sell? Why does nobody want to play on Xbox? It's kind of like the Ubisoft mindset of, why do our games not sell? It's like,
That's not the Ubisoft mindset because Ubisoft games still sell, unfortunately. They just then get very middling reviews.
It's more of Ubisoft going, why don't people like our games?
Yes.
Xbox is going, how come we can't sell
games?
It's like, stop trying to sell Ubisoft games.
You know what was sad? About 2 weeks ago, I got an email for Defiant, and they released a new season.
It was Defiant.
Ubisoft X Defiant. They're
yeah. Okay, that took me a minute to.
Yeah, sorry, that's my bad because there is a Defiant game that's defunct now.
Yeah, my brain went there first. I was like, Defiant.
Yeah, yes, I thought about that after the fact because you and me both played that. And then in other news, you know what's still alive? Suicide Squad was season 3.
I was wondering if you were going to talk about Suicide Squad.
Season 3 and how awful people have received season 3 once again.
That is a game that doesn't have very many players, and
every time
the few players that are there hate every bit of content that they release.
Apparently, Miss Freeze was okay, but that was just the character. The actual content was pretty crap. And
that's what I was saying. It's like yeah, you may release a character every now and then that people like, but more often than not, you have a small player base, and your player base hates you.
And then season 3 hate both the content and the character, which I don't even know the character. The character is called Mute.
I've seen like screenshots. That's all I've seen. I've seen that people aren't happy.
The 12 people.
I have never seen a game that has such a small community, that has such negative opinions on everything released, that just they are determined to keep alive.
And the fun fact is, we're literally just going through the roadmap because after the roadmap, it's as far as just kaput and just going to be balance updates.
It's just that's one of the craziest things. It's like we got an update for you. Fuck you.
You know how Arcane Austin absolutely despise making Redfall? I feel like that's what the team on Suicide Squad is at this point. Unfortunately,
that's what a sad story.
It looked okay when it was coming out. That we hoped. At least we hoped. The general consensus was it looked.
Everybody else was right. We were just like
we just had our fingers crossed. We were just our fingers crossed. At least if we didn't call, it would have been at least entertaining. We didn't care about the rest of it.
Man.
Oh man.
Yeah, we talked about it a little while ago. I think me and Alex did about this game. This year has been a historic year. In both positive and negative ways. This has been a
very interesting mixed year.
This has been the highs of this year. This has been a record-breaking year over and over again for games.
For both positive and negative.
Well, it's like positive, and then it's almost like for every good record that we're breaking, we're also breaking a negative one. It's crazy.
It is very entertaining to watch.
This year's got some of the highest peaks and the lowest valleys.
Next year's going to be very mid or very even more interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be next year's going to be a weird one. Cuz it could be a middling year and you could still call it good you could call that a middling year bad compared to this year, but also a middling year great compared to this year.
I mean, I guess you got anything else to just throw on the end? Have any news articles or things you've caught on?
I don't think so. I think I had most of my stuff in here.
Okay. I guess the only thing else finishing up, I assume you did Game of the Week last week?
Yep, we got Gamesthetic Game of the Week, and it is up to you.
Yep, I was skipping my week, so I'm back to me again. I am going to throw out not an RPG, but still on the PS2 and Xbox era, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, one of the spin-offs that was a action game following Liu Kang and Kung Lao. I forgot his name for a moment. Of the two of them traveling, it's more or less like a Mortal Kombat beat 'em up, which was very entertaining. Two-person co-op, one person of course playing Liu Kang, the other person playing Kung Lao. I'm going to be honest, at this point, I can't entirely tell you what the story was about because I've forgotten. All I remember is the combat and gameplay actually being very fun, of going through and fighting using all your fun Mortal Kombat signature skills with the two of them and just beating up tons of people throughout the several realms they go through, and the several boss fights actually being very entertaining and somewhat challenging at the time for a weird Mortal Kombat 2.5 beat 'em up, because it wasn't full 3D and it wasn't just straight 2D. It wasn't like it wasn't over top, but it was like side.
Yeah.
Overall, good classic beat 'em up game. I want to say the game is a little hard to find. You may be able to buy it on Steam. I want to say, I could be wrong, because it is one of the spin-off games of Mortal Kombat, so it is a little harder to come across at times. Overall, though, good experience. Solid 9 out of 10 game for me. If you like beat 'em up games, I would say if you ever get a chance, try it. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Good thing.
Wrapping up, I guess.
He'll figure it out.
Music? Nope. Nope, I don't see it on there, so I'm not gonna fit anything.
We can just hit end here and tell Alex he's got to clean it up at the end.
You got to throw the music on, Alex. Like, comment, subscribe, rate whatever your platform allows. It does help if you're watching this pre-recorded. Leave a comment about anything we talked about, and it's a John and me episode, so we've just sort of been all over the place. If you're checking out anything new or the games that came out this week, let us know how you feel about them. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, if you like what you saw with me and Zach here, then thank you very much. We'll be back doing these live
next week.
I don't know what the date is. Let's try to figure it out. I don't know. Whatever. I guess the 19th, maybe, of October.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Comment down below if you got anything towards the later, like, third of the year, later quarter of the year, that games you're looking forward to coming out, and maybe we'll see something interesting there.
We can only hope, as you said. It's been a very interesting year. With that, check out our Patreon. Check out both not Sparky 3. Well, you can go check out sparky3.com and see our makeshift shop. You could also go check out Rogue Energy and Aged Ink. And I think that's all I got to shout out. So this is going to be the end. Bye. Have fun, Alex.